and welcome to this presentation on where myself and Ms. Rebecca will be talking to you about different aspects of sleep, highlighting the importance of sleep and how this affects our day-to-day. Furthermore, we will also be highlighting the importance of creating a bedtime routine. Okay, so to start with, we have a very simple question. Why is sleep so sweet? The simple answer to that question is that sleep, or rather a good sleep, has a direct link with our brain's function. We can simplify the importance of sleep into 6 main points. It improves concentration and productivity. It maximizes athletic performance. It affects our metabolism. Poor sleep is linked to depression. Sleep improves our immune function. And sleep affects emotions and social interactions. If you could take a minute and think about the last time you've had a bad sleep, can you think if this affected any of these points? I'm sure the answer is yes, and this is exactly what we will be exploring today. Next, Miss Rebecca is going to talk to you about why babies and toddlers need more sleep.
So, babies and toddlers need significantly more sleep than adults do due to the amount of developmental milestones they are constantly meeting. This includes the significant amount of growing they are doing in this time. The growth hormone is primarily released during the time that they are sleeping. When kids get the sleep they need, they may have a lower risk of becoming overweight and developing illnesses such as diabetes, as well as lowering the risk of developing learning problems and attention issues. Sleep also promotes learning, as studies have shown that babies and toddlers actually learn in their sleep. In summary, babies and toddlers getting the amount of sleep they need helps them to grow, learn, develop, and stay healthy.
Okay, now what about your sleep? Now that we've heard about the sweet sleep that babies and toddlers need, take a minute and think about your own personal sleep. What time do you think you dropped off to sleep last night? What time did you wake up? And how many hours of sleep did you get? After thinking about these questions, keep these in mind and let's explore how much sleep do adolescents and adults need.
It's recommended that adolescents get between 9 to 10 hours of sleep a day. The reason for this is that teenagers are going through a second developmental stage of cognitive maturation. The sleep helps their developing brains as well as the many physical growth spurts they go through. In addition, getting the right amount of sleep in adolescence helps to reduce the risk of developing issues with depression and helps them to manage levels of stress and anxiety they may experience. Unfortunately, many do not hit this sleep target, and this is due to a number of reasons. Therefore, it is really important to make sleep a priority with your teenagers. Helping them to develop good sleep habits and a bedtime routine will benefit them massively. We will discuss top tips for good sleep and bedtime routines later in the presentation. Now let's look at what does sleep do. While we are sleeping, there are so many positive things happening to our bodies. Sleep keeps us healthy and functioning well. It lets your body and brain repair, restore, and re-energize. If you don't get enough sleep, you might experience side effects like poor memory and focus, weakened immunity, and mood swings. Therefore, getting the right amount of sleep each night is essential for us to function the way we want to.
Right, so now we will talk about our brains during sleep. The first important point is that our brain remains highly active throughout sleep. And this is for a number of reasons. First of all, it clears out the trash. So, the cerebral spinal fluid acts like a vacuum cleaner. It removes waste products that could be toxic, such as the toxic protein linked to dementia over time. Secondly, it restores information, such as the password you said you didn't need to write down because you would remember it. Thirdly, it prevents important memories. So your brain chooses and enhances the experiences that are most valuable to you. Fourthly, it helps you keep chronologically straight. It replays the memory of your daily to-dos in a chronological order. And this happens in your deepest stage of sleep. The last point, it prevents you from acting out your dreams. So in the deepest stage of sleep, that is stage 4 and 5, stage 3 and 4, this is the part of your brain which is responsible for relaying nerve impulses throughout the spinal cord. And this sends a message to turn off your motor neurons, causing temporary paralysis. The simple reason behind this is that so you don't find yourself trying to recreate the stories that are running through your mind whilst asleep. We will now be discussing the 5 stages of sleep. The stage 1 is the transitional phase. This occurs when we are floating in and out of consciousness. We are partially awake when your mind begins to drift off. This eventually leads to light sleep. After winding down in stage 1, your sleep cycle will slip into stage 2. Stage 2 is the non-REM phase. This is also a light stage of sleep. Your heart rate begins to slow and the core body temperature decreases. During this stage, eye movement stops. We are now in stages 3 and 4. These are the periods of slow wave sleep. These are characterized as the deep stages of sleep and are often the hardest to wake up from. These stages are called slow wave sleeps because brain waves slow down, blood pressure drops, breathing becomes deeper, slower, and more rhythmic. During this stage, there is no eye movement and the body becomes immobile. These stages are extremely rejuvenating to the body. Hormones are released and aid in body growth and appetite control. Therefore, these are essential to the development of the body. Stage 5. This is known as the REM stage. This is the only stage of rapid eye movement, and here the brain is bursting with activity. The mind energizes itself while the body is immobile. Breathing becomes shallower and irregular, while the heart rate and blood pressure rise from the levels they were in previous stages. Most dreaming happens in this stage, and we also start to wake up at the end of the stage. We will now be hearing Rebecca on sleep and learning.
Sleep is important for optimal learning and memory function. Sleep affects learning in 2 ways. Firstly, lack of sleep impairs a person's ability to focus and learn efficiently. Secondly, sleep is necessary to consolidate a memory, to make it stick so that it can be recalled in the future. Therefore, sleep deprivation can have a significant impact on our learning and memory. When we are sleep deprived, our focus, attention, and vigilance drift, making it more difficult to receive information. Without adequate sleep and rest, overworked neurons in the brain can no longer function to coordinate information properly, and we lose our ability to access previously learned information. In addition, our interpretation of events may be affected. We lose our ability to make sound decisions because we can no longer accurately assess a situation, plan accordingly, and choose the correct behavior. So in short, our ability to make sound judgments can become impaired. Now we are going to look at how sleep affects our mood.
Right, so sleep and mood. Think about the number of times that you've had a bad sleep or not enough sleep, and how this makes you feel the next day. The reason behind this is that sleep and mood are in a cycle. Sleep loss can affect your mood, and your mood can affect how well you sleep. Studies, in fact, show people who are sleep deprived report increases in negative moods and decreases in positive moods. And as you can see from the cycle, it is truly a cycle of tiredness leading to having a difficulty to cope with your day-to-day life, which would lead to low self-esteem, which would make you feel worried and stressed. And being worried and stressed cannot be a good thing when trying to sleep, and so on and so forth. And this is why we thought it is very important for us to be talking about sleep. In fact, now Ms. Rebecca is going to be sharing some tips on good sleep.
So, some of the healthy tips are to practice a relaxing bedtime ritual. A relaxing routine activity right before bedtime carried out away from bright lights helps separate your sleep time from activities that can cause excitement, stress, or anxiety, which can make it more difficult to fall asleep, to get sound and deep sleep, or even remain asleep. If you have trouble sleeping, avoid naps, especially those in the afternoon. Power napping can help you get through the day. However, if you find that you can't sleep or struggle to sleep at bedtime, taking away even short naps can help. Exercise daily. Even light exercise is better than no activity. Exercise at any time of day except when you should be sleeping. Evaluate your room. Check that your room is in the best conditions for you to sleep. Your bedroom should be cool, be free from any noise that can disturb your sleep. You should also make sure that your bedroom is free from any light. Avoid drinks with caffeine in the afternoons and evenings, as this can make it more difficult to fall asleep. You can see by the graph on the slide that the drinks which have high levels of caffeine in them. Wind down before bed. Your body needs time to shift into sleep mode, so spend the last hour before bed doing a calming activity such as reading. Using an electronic device before sleeping can make it hard to fall asleep because the particular type of light emanating from the screens of devices is activating the brain. Therefore, it is best to avoid all electronics for at least 1 to 2 hours before bed and definitely in the middle of the night. Keep a pattern. It is important for children to go to bed at the same time every night and get up at the same time every morning. So try to keep a regular schedule. This leads us onto the importance of developing a good bedtime routine. Regardless of age, regular schedules and bedtime rituals help us to get the sleep we need and give us the ability to function to the best of our ability. Establishing a good bedtime routine helps our bodies to know that it is time to go to sleep, especially when we practice the same routine every night. It helps us to fall asleep, stay asleep, and wake up rested and refreshed. A good bedtime routine could be something like preparing your things for the next day, having a light snack or warm glass of milk, turning off or removing electronic devices from the bedroom 1 to 2 hours before sleep, and having a warm bath before getting ready to get into bed. Then taking part in a relaxing activity before going to sleep, such as reading. This is important as it gives yourself the important time you need to decompress from the day. Again, going to bed at the same time every night, as this helps to keep a regular schedule. That brings us to the end of our talk. We hope you found it interesting and useful. If you have any further questions or would like to speak to us, please feel free to contact us on our counselling department email, counselling_work@gemsedu.com. Thank you for taking the time to listen to us today, and we hope you have a great day and sleep well tonight.